Well, if it's Monday night, that means, well, I'm back working, doing my podcast. Hey, it's the A Game. I'm Rob Akampora from my bunker in Bradley Beach, New Jersey. Meanwhile, on the other side of the screen, the most attractive part of this podcast, obviously, from Nashville. And I was thinking about, all right, how do I introduce Nicole Atkins? Well, first thing I want to do, Christian, there is a photo that has her album cover, but it was on her Facebook page. If you can find that one, I want you to put this up here because we're going to talk about not that one. See, this is the great thing about a live podcast. I throw Christian so many curveballs in the air. Now it looks like this, exactly. And that is her new album, which we will be talking about during the podcast. The other one now, because this is the total. She's like me, shameless self-promotion. You'll find it, Christian. It's there. It's amongst the six. There it is. And if you look here, self-care tip: turn off the lights, light a candle, and click on this. I think that's great advice. We'll do that after the podcast. Here is the soul pop, alternative groove, seductive rock goddess that she is, Nicole Atkins, live from her place in Nashville. Thanks for being a part of the A Game.
Yeah. What's up?
What's up? How you been?
I've been okay. You know, all things considered, trying to keep sane. And,
I think that's a good advice. So trying to keep sane is probably the key. Yeah. I mean, I know you've been doing some things online. Has that been part of the trying to keep the sanity thing? Because you are somebody who thrives on the live music and being out on tour and doing that. So does this fill at least a little bit of that, okay, I'm connecting a little bit with the audience by doing some of these virtual concerts?
Definitely. You know, I didn't think at first it would. And also, like, in the beginning, like, all the technology was like, everything's breaking.
Yes.
And we're live, you know, but after I saw like my parents on the YouTube comments and seeing that they knew how to work social media or like YouTube, you know, and then people that like saw them or met them at the Pony or something being like, oh my God, it's Nicole's parents. I was like, yay, you know, like, and just like hearing from people like that, you know, I'd get messages saying like your show's like the highlight of my week. And I'm like, wow, because I never know the impact of what I do, you know, and until I hear it from somebody else. You know, so it's like, okay, if it's making you happy, then it's making me happy.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Impact. That's sort of where we got to go back to the beginning. To set up your new album, let's go back. Now you can put the photo of the first one that you put up, the original time, Christian. Neptune City was the start of Nicole Atkins' career when she got the big break. And she looks the same now, 13 years later, that she does now. I mean, you haven't aged, woman, for God's sake.
I feel like in that photo, I look like I smelled a fart. Like, I do. I hate that photo.
So you could go back 13 years and be like, oh, please change the photo, change the album photo, please.
Yeah, I have the rights back to re-record the album, so I'm going to, so I can own it.
Ooh, that will be interesting. I mean, is there any thought process as far? Yeah,
a non-fart face photo for the cover. But
I would imagine forgive me to interrupt. My first thought was there's gonna be this feeling, Christian. You take the photo down at any time now. That
Jesus,
if you're,
Christian.
I know.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
really?
we could just go in on the side.
There we go. All right, there we go. Hey, how are you?
Good.
Does the thought process come to you of like when you listen to those songs from that album and go, yeah, if I could do them differently in 2020 or 2021?
Absolutely.
Is there stuff stuff's coming to mind already, I would imagine.
There's a lot of the arrangements that I love, but I think the overall sonics of it, I would do more in the vein of what I'm doing now.
Right.
You know, like a little bit like warmer, more like live sounding. Also, there's a bunch of songs that were kept off of the album because of the way the production was pushing it in a way that I didn't really want the song to go in. So I kept them off. So I think I'm going to redo it as like a, you know, Neptune City re-envisioned, like how I originally thought it would be.
When you look back now, do you feel like there was too many cooks in the pot maybe then? Because if you know, no? Oh, okay.
No, there weren't too many cooks. There was just, you know, when you work with a producer, you know, you go with what they want to do. Like I felt like I learned a lot from Tour and I love a lot of like what he did, you know, but now it's like, you know, it's over 10 years later. So I just have, you know, kind of like grown as a musician and a producer, and know a lot of people and know a lot of great studios that I like to work at. So I can just put all that into it, and just remake it.
Here's the best example I can give of your growth, and it also shows that you're not afraid to go in any direction. If you take 2 songs, you take A Little Crazy, which you recorded, which is sort of an ode to Roy Orbison kind of vibe that you're creating with that song, without question.
Yeah, it's a Roy-ish song.
Yeah. But then you
Righteous
take
Brothers-ish.
Yeah. But then you take Girl, You Look Amazing. And I remember the song when I first heard it. I'm like, oh, wow, the Pretenders have done a dance song, and it works. It's brilliant.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was the Pretenders.
See, I'm not surprised at that. But it is 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. You literally can do something that's more of a crooning style. I won't even say soft rock. I would just say sort of a tribute. And then you kind of get your groove on. What's that?
A soft anthem.
Soft anthem. I like that. That works.
Yeah. I feel like my entire, the sounds that I'm drawn to are, strut rock on one end and then soft anthems on the other. So it's like funky soul music on one side and then, reverie 50s rock.
How do you balance that? That's just hit me. How do you balance the 2 worlds and try to make it copacetic, so to speak?
Well, I mean, that's AM radio. It's like that AM gold radio sound.
Right.
Like it was songs from the 50s to, the late 70s.
It's true.
And, when you think about artists like, Elvis Costello or Bruce Springsteen, like any of those guys, they all wanted to be Roy Orbison or
it's true.
Or like Wilson Pickett,
Yeah.
So it's like, I like those things too.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nicole Atkins is here on the A Game. Your albums, the one thing I've noticed about the album titles, they kind of reflect where you were at the point. I mean, Neptune City, you named the first album sort of a tribute to where you grew up in Neptune, New Jersey. Mondo Amore, which means big love. So, and it kind of reflected another, let's say, chapter in your life with the title of the album, wouldn't you say?
The breakup album.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Goodnight, Rhonda Lee. In a weird way, you're saying goodbye
the
to
other
a part
breakup.
of the other breakup, right?
Record.
But that's got to be a little weird too. You're breaking up with yourself, but was it cathartic? Was it therapeutic to do that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the time, like Goodnight Rhonda Lee is about, me quitting drinking, but it was all about me quitting and failing at quitting drinking. So like all those songs were just like written in the moment of going through that.
Right.
And then this record was written in the moment of not really going through any sort of struggle. It was like my first non-struggle themed record, but the struggle was more so about what everybody on the planet was going through with every day there's like 3 bad news things that happen every day.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's not even compared to how bad it is now, but I just wanted to make some sort of remedy for, I wanted to listen to something that would make me feel better. And I wasn't finding it in new albums that were coming out. And so I figured I needed to make one. And the things that make me feel better are just like, I remember like my trip from my beach towel to the boardwalk growing up is listening to everybody's boom boxes all playing different stuff on the walk.
Right. It's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Italian ice, though. My first vision is like going, since you grew up in Neptune, I'm thinking like, I'm at a Rita store. Can I have a cherry ice now? No, I want the mango. Let me have the mango.
Yeah. Yeah. Or what was Martinelli's?
Oh, good one.
But always just have the Martinelli's like in the freezer with like the little cardboard wooden spoon. Scrape it, like get like tongue splinters and
memories of the Jersey Shore. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. I can't wait. I'm going back in July.
Oh, fantastic. You're just coming down just to chill out and,
I'm coming with my band and we're going to stay at my parents' house and make my YouTube shows from their backyard.
That'll be cool. All right. And
the neighbors, I hope they'll be stoked.
I hope so too. By the way, the shows have been called Alone We're All Together, and they're popping up regularly about what day, what time, so everybody knows.
They're going to be popping up on Tuesday. We haven't, it'll be on my website. We're working out the details now. Cool. I think we might do it through Twitch this time.
All right.
But I'm trying to think of a new name for it.
Okay. We'll look for that.
Maybe like Italian Ice Capades.
Oh,
something.
Girl, you know how to play these words. The word
Italian
thing
ice
is
castles.
Italian ice castles. There we go. And it will be Nicole Atkins ice skating in 80-degree weather. There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
When you look at your career, two things stand out to me too. David Letterman, how important has David been in the sense of he gives you a chance, brings you back, and
Mhm.
when I look at late night television, they're not giving a lot of quote unquote indie artists an opportunity. So David
They're
doing that,
not.
yeah. So when
It's a
I'm looking,
shame.
it is. But I look at David and I look at the first time you're on. You can tell he really enjoyed your music. So I
Yeah.
think do you consider him a true fan of what you do?
Yeah, that was legit.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the best moments of my life. It just like seemed like it was unreal.
Very organic. It was totally. You're saying totally unexpected.
Yeah, I didn't think he would, like it or anything, or I wasn't even thinking, will he like it? I was just
Right.
like, man, I hope we don't mess this up.
Right.
That's all I was thinking. But
I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
I like doing TV though, because it's like I like being put on the spot. It just makes you hyper focus. Like even like with recording, I love being like, okay, we only have 5 days to do this.
Right.
Because I feel like when you have too much time, you can just get in your head.
I would think the most challenging TV, and I could be wrong on this, is just knowing who you've been on. And I'm actually a fan of this guy. Over in the UK, there's a show called Later with Jules Holland.
Yeah, I did that though.
Yeah, and I would think that's probably a little more challenging because it's like theater in the round. You've got about 5 to 6 bands, and you're going to be called upon to do a song, then you take a break, then you're doing another song. So it's not like you're doing it bing, bang, boom, or at least they're filming it that way is a better way of putting it.
Well, no, they film it like where it's in the round, but like when they take the camera, when your song is done, they're on to the next band, but they're still filming you like watching the next band.
Oh, wow.
So that's why like when we did Maybe Tonight, like Metallica's all watching, they're like playing air drums to it. And I was like, yeah. So we have like a bunch of metal fans from that.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's great. Metal fans are the best.
No
they're so enthusiastic and they're so nice.
They're loyal. They're loyal to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Christian, there is a photo I want you to put up of her playing live because this kind of segues into the live performance of Nicole. This is you at See Here Now. This is actually one of your fans that had sent me this and I was like, "Ooh, that's a great shot." I mean,
yeah, that was a great day. That was one of the best festivals ever.
I was about to say, for somebody who grew up in the area to be on the big stage in this new thing in Asbury Park, 30,000 people going through the beaches, it had to be like that rush of kind of like, here's my homecoming. Boy, what a homecoming.
And it was my birthday at midnight. It was my birthday at midnight, and then we watched Bruce Springsteen from the side of the stage, sitting with Blondie. And then earlier, or the day before, I met Chris Thorne from Blind Melon, and he was just like my buddy all day. And that's actually where we first met. Was at the Blind Melon signing at the Sports Authority.
Yes,
I still have a picture of it. You've got like a shag mullet.
Yeah, I did. Oh my God!
I should find that photo.
You're allowed to embarrass me because you've known me that long. So on that, like,
we're all dressed like dicks, but like, our clothes are really bad, but our hair was great.
Yeah, I still go the 90s. What was I thinking? Yeah, and it was that really rat-tailed, mullet.
Yeah, there were bangs. I think you had bangs as well.
This is totally embarrassing, and the fact you remember that, I'm going, oh my God!
You were one of my first autographs. I got you and Matt Pinfield to sign my page too, because like 106.3 was my favorite thing in the world. Like when I got to high school, like I had a clock radio, and I was like, you guys would do morning contests, and they're like, caller 6 gets the tickets to the Sundays, and I won them. And I didn't have any friends, and I just saw these like 3 girls that I thought looked cool, and I was like, "You want to go see the Sundays?" They're like, "What's that?" And I was like, "It's gonna be cool, trust me." And like we've been best friends since. We're still friends.
Oh, that's fantastic! That's a great story. Oh my God! And I remember that was the time. I'm trying to think. Was it the first album, Here's Where the Story Ends, or was it the second album when she did Love?
It was the second one.
With the cover
it was
of
Reading,
Wild
Writing,
Horses.
Arithmetics. Yeah.
Yes.
And I met her after the show, and she bought me M&Ms at the Wawa. It was great.
Oh my God. Great stuff with Nicole Atkins here on the A Game. I do a segment called Random Shots. I'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
But I gotta mention roadies, because obviously that was a great opportunity for you. What was it like to kind of get your music on a show like that?
It was crazy because like the episode that I was on was the finale with like me and Jim James and Eddie Vedder and Robin Hitchcock, and I was like, no one's gonna know who I am. Why am I with these people? Like, this is awesome. I'm like, I know I should be here,
right?
But no one else does. But Cameron Crowe does. So Cameron Crowe, I did a thing for Cabo Wabo Tequila with Mick Fleetwood back in 2011, where we went to Hawaii. I went to Hawaii to hang out with him for a week and drink tequila and talk about tour stories. And it's on YouTube. No one watched it, and it's really good. And so Cameron Crowe like wrote a thing on Twitter, like, nice piece with Mr. Fleetwood. And I was like, oh my God, it's Cameron Crowe. That's so cool. And then he donated to a crowdfund thing that I did for to pay for my record. And then we were on tour with Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds opening for their summer tour, Push the Sky Away. And he like messaged me saying, that he, loved what I was doing and loved my record, and asked if I could take some footage from backstage of like the catering and the bathrooms and just random stuff and send it to him for a collage he wanted to do for the opening of his show. And then I was like, what's the show? And he's like, blah, blah, blah. And then he asked me, he's like, have you ever done any acting? And he had me audition over Skype from like the last tour date I had in London for the road manager. I didn't get it.
No,
which is fine. I can do comedy, but if I had to make out with somebody, I'd be like, but like anything else is fine. But so he was like, you didn't get the part, but like, I definitely want you on the show. And then the show started airing and there were all these bands on the show. And I was like, meh. And I saw a poster hanging up in Georgia for the show. And so I took a picture of it and I sent it to him. And I was like, yeah, they're advertising. And he was like, I'm still finding a part for you. And then asked me like, can you come and do the finale? And I just wrote A Little Crazy with Chris Isaak, and he was like, yeah, let's do that song.
Fantastic.
It was awesome, but I had bronchial pneumonia.
Ooh.
And so I flew there. It was my only first class flight I've ever gotten to go on, and I was so sick.
Oh, man.
And so I got there, and they had like a doctor come and like shoot me with prednisone. I'm on Sudafed. I was just like, And there's a scene where, the tour manager, he's dead, but he's stuffed like a bear. And everybody had to walk up to him and, hug him and say their byes to him. And I just remember like, he's like, okay, Nicole, this is somebody that meant a lot to you. And they're playing like a song in the background for inspiration. And my husband's a tour manager.
Right.
And so we met from his friend that was my tour manager. And I imagined him. He's this crazy, like, old school type tour manager that has one eye that goes like this, and he's like crazy, like he's just like, what do you want? What do you need? You want a boat ride? You want some drugs? What do you want? Like, he's crazy. And so I imagined him passing away. And so like I was on so many medicines for like being sick that like I just cried. I was like,
wow.
And Cameron was like, yes. But I was like, whoa. Like, so.
It's funny how that all worked out. It's like, okay, I'm sicker than a dog and I nailed it. Oh my God.
I nailed it because I was just like, yeah, that's raw.
It's interesting to me that you have critical acclaim. You're loved by other artists. You're loved by people like Cameron Crowe. You have all these things. It's like there's one element missing in the Nicole Atkins resume at this point. And when we play the song at the end of the podcast, I'm hoping this song is the one finally. Way overdue for you. I'm really hoping.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nicole Atkins is here on the A Game. Okay, Random Shots is basically me kind of knowing a little bit about you, spying on your social media and coming up with some questions. So with that in mind, yeah, exactly. But I'm going to start with a couple of true or false questions. True or false? Nickname from one of your bandmates at one point was Foghorn, as in Foghorn Leghorn?
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
She snored really loud. I'm not going to say her name because I love her.
No. Out of respect, of course.
Yeah, she was Foghorn. She'd always be like, "Man, I want my own room," and I'm like, "You should have your own room. There you go." And then she'd be like, "I'm lonely." I'm like, "No,
No,
never got
can't come
any
back.
sleep."
Not happening.
Yeah.
True or false that at one point in your career, whatever we won't say the label in this case, but
Uh-huh.
somebody suggested to you you should sing more like Alanis Morissette. Is that really true?
I don't think so.
Okay, just something I
I don't think
found that.
that's true. I might have blocked that out.
Okay.
But, yeah, I can't see why anybody would say that.
Yeah, see, I was about to see in my head, I'm going, look, you have a unique artist on your
Oh,
hands. Oh,
somebody did say to me, that I was, because I was going through a breakup, like, "You should be the next or this generation's Alanis Morissette,"
okay.
you
Now
know?
I
But
understand what you're saying.
I always
Okay.
think that, like, I think that cheap shots in songwriting for relationships, they always come back to bite you in the ass. I like to
Hmm.
keep it a little bit more classic,
Hmm.
you know?
And I would think it's a little more cerebral in your world too. So it's kind of that. You know what? I'm not going to attack you, but I'm gonna just
No.
tell my story.
I can do yeah, I, like, subscribe to the Carole King songwriting school.
Oh, nothing wrong with
So,
that.
make the heartbreak about me and not make it about dissing people.
There you go. You are
Yeah.
somebody who's actually done an album full of covers, and you've done your share of covers. I mean, you've covered the likes of, let's see, The Doors, Zeppelin, Springsteen, Bowie, which, by the way, brilliant with Postmodern
Thanks.
Jukebox. I love that so
Yeah,
much.
that was really, really cool. We did that in, like, a half an hour. I came over, we did the
Really?
song, and I left. Yeah.
And now 2 million views later. I mean,
I know, and a Heineken commercial, which
yeah.
was
I
crazy.
was about to say, what's been the impact off of that song alone?
Oh, I mean, it was pretty big in Europe. We had a lot of people come to my shows now being like, "I found you from Heineken," or there's this football player named Chris Long from the
Yes,
Eagles.
from the Eagles that just retired. Yes.
Yeah, and he tweeted about me and all the like, I saw, like, my Twitter was like, "Brrr," and I was like he's like, "That girl from, the Heineken commercial has my favorite voice ever. Who is that?" And I was like, "Who is this?" Because I don't really follow sports,
Right.
but then I, like, checked him out and, like, he's, like, a good dude,
Yeah, he is.
like, very, seems like a very generous and forward-thinking person, and, I was
You got him down. You really do.
yeah. I was at Bonnaroo, and this giant dude comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I, don't wanna be, like, a fanboy or anything, but are you Nicole Atkins?" And I was like, "You're that football player, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah." And, like, he was so sweet. Like, cool guy. And his
Yeah,
his his wife is from the area too. I think she's from Red Bank.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Wow. Oh man, small
that's cool.
world. Very
Yeah,
very small world. Okay, this is a little personal because you shared this with me. So I got to share a little bit of this because we were talking about my old station, FM 1063,
yeah,
giving you an autograph, Pinfield giving you an autograph. You recently stopped by the old building on Hope Road in
yeah,
Eatontown, and you found a little gems in the building. Give
I
me one or
did.
two that, yeah,
Oh,
tell
so
everybody about
many,
them.
so
Yeah.
many. I'm
What?
hoping that I can go back in there when I get there in July and grab some more. I got some jazz and classical music box sets from the '50s. I got,
Wow.
some real tapes, from the Israeli government,
I didn't
of
realize that. Whoa.
Of Reagan and, Gorbachev
Oh, jeez.
talking interviews. Yeah,
Wow.
and they were never opened. I got a typewriter. I got a Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds Lollapalooza fanny pack.
Nice.
I'm sure that's not going anywhere. I'm like, "This is the most
No.
wrong piece of merch for this band." I got a Radiohead, the Benz, Frisbee.
I remember when we got a bunch of those, we were promoting that album. That was the promotional piece that we were handing out at
Yeah.
like events that we would go to.
Now, when they sent you those Frisbees, were you like, "Oh, cool Frisbee. I'm gonna play this song from Radiohead." Like,
No,
is that how it works?
no, you know better than that. But I mean, it was sort of back in the day, and I look back in the 1990s. Everybody sort of had these creative ways of trying to get radio's attention. So
Yeah,
here's a
I think
Frisbee.
that's fun.
Yeah, I think it is too. But I think the Frisbee one, I'm going. It would looking back on it now, you kind of go, it's kind of cool to have this thing with Radiohead on it. But at
Yeah.
the time, you're like going, I don't know if
What
I
am I
get
gonna
it.
do with this junk?
Right.
Yeah.
Of course,
Somebody told me that Ben Folds, when he had a One Angry Dwarf song, that, like, he hired dwarfs to visit the radio stations on roller skates with his album.
I've heard the stories. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard the stories. Definitely.
Yeah. Wouldn't be able to do that now.
No. Not in 2020.
No.
One more. And I think I know the answer to this, and I'm going to use 2 photos here. Christian has a photo with Nicole and a good friend of mine, Jeff Raspy. If you can post him up, there you go. And I look at you there. And first off, it's an adorable photo. I think it's fantastic. But
my teeth look great.
Yeah, I would say this is sexy Nicole Atkins.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of the equation, with the warrior paint, Christian, please get that one up there. There we go.
See, I think that's sexy Nicole Atkins right there.
See,
that's the real me.
I think you're channeling your inner geek, but I don't think you're afraid to basically say, "No, I'm a geek."
That's not geeky at all. Liking the warrior is cool.
Well, I'm proud you say that because I grew up on those guys in the WWF, now WWE.
That was my favorite era of wrestling. Like, I never felt more passionate. There's 2 things that I felt very, very passionate about in entertainment, and it's been rock music and late 80s WWF. Like, for some reason, like, I'll watch like old tapes of like SummerSlam or something, and when the Warrior music comes on, I feel this like completeness in my belly. Still to this day, and I don't know why. And I'm sure as a man, he was a horrible asshole. But like, God, he was so exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, now I've known you on and off for how long, and I never knew that about you. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, that was the first time I learned that life was unfair. It was 1991 Royal Rumble when Bobby Heenan held his foot and they cheated.
Yes.
And I was like, but it's on video. He cheated. It's on video. They need to reverse it. And and I was crying, and I was like, but it's not fair. It's on video, and that's basically how life is now. It's on everything's on video, but it's not fair.
No, it's not.
No. But my dad was like, oh God, she's a weirdo.
Well, now I have to ask one wrestling question now. Looking at wrestling in 2020, knowing that we've got AEW now coming out with Chris Jericho, and you've still got WWE, and you still got some other factions. I mean, do you think I just answered it? All right, comparison
they're not,
yeah, I'm getting
they're
it.
They're great technical wrestlers, but that's why I'm not into like sports, because they don't have costumes, I like costumes and storylines. It's like, theater for,
Right.
That's why I do like indie wrestling though. So like last summer we were on tour with Lake Street Dive, and we did 2 nights at the St. Paul or the Palace Theater in St. Paul. And my husband came to meet us, and he was in the airport, and he's like, I just saw a professional wrestler in the airport, and all these named Mr. Wonderful or something, or like Mr. Hands.
Orndorff, yes.
No, it wasn't Orndorff.
Oh,
it was like an indie wrestler. And so First Ave was having WrestlePalooza, and it was an indie wrestling fest. And so he got us tickets, and we all went after our set. And like the guys in my band were like, I am not into wrestling. I'm like, this is going to be fun. They got in there, and it was like, everybody was like, ah! Like, and they were like, this is great. And there was like, a drag queen dressed like Barbarella, and like, I'm hoping that when touring goes back to normal, I told James from First Ave, I'm like, please let us be the band. We'll come up with a wrestling themed set. Like, it'll be totally different from like my normal set, but like, it'll be so fun.
I'm voting yes to that big time for sure.
Yeah.
Nicole Atkins here on the A Game. The new song is Domino. It is from the new album Italian Ice. Now, interesting. This is the second time you've done a video in Asbury Park. Because if I remember correctly, Girl You Look Amazing was actually shot at Asbury Lanes. Yeah, I remember.
It was shot all over. Asbury Lanes, Silver Ball Museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love shooting in Asbury Park because it's such a cool looking town, and they let me shoot places for free.
Yeah, there you go.
I know all the business owners.
Helps to grow up around the area for sure.
Definitely.
This time around, though, it's not only Asbury Park, and I love the way it's shot. It's very cinematic, and we're going to show the video to wrap this up. But you also, New Jersey Transit, how did you manage that? Because there's nobody on the car and the train, so you had to probably do it at, 2, 3 in the morning, I'm thinking?
No, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Whoa.
I bought tickets on my phone app. I bought 3 tickets for me and the 2 camera people. And we just went on and just did it. And a couple times there were people on there. You just couldn't see them in the shots that we used. But I was like, all right, blanket statement. I'm going to look like a total moron to you right now, but we're making a video. So, and everyone's like, okay. And then like the characters were like, I was like, I'm sorry. And they're like, it's fine. And they let us do it. And then like, they were like, station stop, Belmar. Like they just kept messing with us. It was really funny. So like, there's some scenes on the train where I'm like cracking up. You could kind of see it because they're just like, you know, station stop, man. Let's go on. Like,
and nowadays with videos, it really is about getting the hits on YouTube. I mean, we already know that MTV really doesn't play videos anymore. So it's like maybe M2 to a degree, but I don't even follow that. So I think that
M2 still exists.
I know M2 exists, and so does MTV. But
I wish there was a TV. Like I wish that like Netflix had a video show.
Good idea. Really good idea, actually.
They need a host.
I'm here. I'm right here. I look like Pinfield now, so there you go.
Oh my God, that would be funny. Like take 120 minutes. You should make that as a sketch.
There we go. Hi, I'm Stunt Pinfield. There you go.
Yeah, I'm Matt Pinfield, stunt double, and you stand up and you're all tall.
One of the last conversations I had with Matt a couple months ago, we were joking about that. I'm like, I'm going to be your stand-in when you finally do a movie. You realize this?
So funny. That'd be great.
But getting back to the whole YouTube thing, that's really what it's all about now. It is about if you shoot a video, you want to basically get everybody's attention on YouTube and kind of say, hey, and hopefully the word of mouth will continue and you get to a point where it's, all right, maybe 100,000, 200,000 views. And if it gets to 1 million, hello.
Yeah, that's great. I'm like happy if I get like 20,000.
I think you're beyond that at this point.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't check because I don't like to be sad.
Well, I'm going to say it this way. Here's a woman who's had everything that could happen except a hit. I mean, and I want to bring up this point because this is an amazing accomplishment you did a couple of years ago. You released one of your albums. It got on the Billboard Top 200 chart without really a label. I mean, to do that is still an incredible feat because in the world of...
especially a few years ago.
Well, you're competing against all the majors and you're trying to get the word out there. And somehow you cracked it. You topped the top 150 on the Billboard 200. I mean, that was impressive.
It was like 130 or something.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean,
this one did too. This new one, Italian Ice. But I mean, it came out during a pandemic. But
right. I mean, it could have. And I think that
it was on like 4 or 5 different charts too.
Yeah. And I think that may play to your advantage in the long run because I know the pandemic has slowed everything down. But on the other side, people are starving for some kind of entertainment other than, because TV right now is in such rerun mode. Everybody's looking for something new. And everybody's kind of coming to this medium now, whether it be podcasting, live performances, new music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's why I went ahead and put it out. Because I was like, if people are going to be home, they're going to be listening to records with like focus.
Yes.
Like instead of just like having a song or two on a playlist. Like, I know when I take a walk around the block for my exercise, I listen to a whole album, instead of just like jumping around. So, I want people to be entertained.
Absolutely.
And I want to be busy. So
I said this to you privately. I will say it publicly. It's a brilliant song. And we're going to play that in a second. Christian, put up the album. Again, it is the new album. It is available through all the mediums that you need to do. So if you want to do what she says, turn off the lights, light a candle, and click on this. Music's up on Spotify, but go to iTunes, buy the music. You even have albums out on this, if I'm not mistaken.
The best place to get an album's from my website because I send them from home and I put stickers in them.
NicoleAtkins.com.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did see a photo. Do you have limited edition color ones by any chance?
I'm out of them, but independent shops have them. So if you call your like local indie store, ask them if they have the red vinyl.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Italian Ice is the CD. It's definitely worth your attention. To wrap it up, we are going to play the new single. Nicole, first off, thank you for checking in. It's great to reminisce. I miss you too.
What's that map of behind you?
That is a map of New Jersey. I'm a Jersey guy. Come on now.
I need it everywhere.
Yes. So this is your Jersey fix for the week. There you go.
Yeah.
And then some. Mm-hmm. And listen, when you're in town, please let me know. I definitely want to stop by and watch the live performance for sure.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Very cool.
Cool.
Nicole Atkins, immensely talented. Check it out for yourself. This is the new single from Italian Ice. The video is for Domino. Enjoy. See you next week.
Bye.